A few months ago, Perikatan Nasional led by Tan Sri Mahyudin Yassin almost became the government of Malaysia. There was a hung parliament. Unfortunately for Perikatan Nasional and fortunately for Pakatan Harapan, somehow the Agong chose Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim to be the Prime Minister based on his numbers, and of course the crucial piece in the jigsaw was UMNO and Barisan Nasional joining Pakatan Harapan. So what happens to Perikatan Nasional now? In fact, what is Perikatan Nasional and how do we understand this ostensibly Malay-based coalition in a multiracial Malaysia? So tonight I will have a candidate for Perikatan Nasional in the previous election. Typically you call MPs YB, right? He did not won, but he almost did. Mr. Haris Idaham, he lost by a mere 1,500 plus votes. So he is as good as a YB, and I am pretty sure he will be one in the future. So he will join us. He was contesting under the Bersatu ticket, under the Perikatan Nasional ticket, because PN comprises Bersatu and PAS. So without further ado, I will accept his request. How are you, YB?
Great. Hi, Abdullah. How are you, Dr. Walid?
I am good. Alhamdulillah as well. Thank you so much for doing this.
Okay, no problem.
Yes.
Let's do that.
So I introduced you already, and firstly, thank you for coming on. I think it's a pleasure to have you on. I think we met once before in Singapore with YB1 Faisal. So the first question I have for you, and this may come from a Singaporean perspective, but also I think a lot of Malaysians are asking it, especially non-Malays, right? So Perikatan Nasional is an ostensibly Malay-led coalition. So, and a lot of people say, oh, it's very conservative, it's far right in terms of Malay. So some people have even said Perikatan Nasional is racist, right? That's why they don't want to vote for PN. So my first question for you is, can Perikatan Nasional win in a multiracial country like Malaysia?
Okay. First of all, thank you, Dr. Walid, for having me on this fantastic platform, Teh Tarik with Walid. I'm very humbled by the invitation to speak on this platform. Thank you so much for the introduction just now. I heard it was a nice introduction and good question to start off with. And thanks also for everybody who's joining us, and the numbers are increasing. All right. Regarding Perikatan Nasional, the perception that we are having outside, it's not really multiracial, and some people are calling us racist and so on and so forth. I think this is also due to the fact that in Perikatan Nasional there are three main parties: Bersatu, PAS, and Gerakan. And everybody knows that Bersatu and PAS are the contributors of the seats to the Perikatan Nasional 74 seats that we have in Parliament today. And unfortunately, our peers, Gerakan, couldn't manage to win a parliamentary seat recently. Therefore, our Ahli Dewan Rakyat are basically Malays. We do have some MPs from Sabah Sarawak as well, but mainly Malays. I think that is why the notion that Perikatan Nasional is more towards Malays and it's not as multi as we would like it to be. But of course, that is our shortcoming. That is something that we have to work on to attract the non-Malays to also vote for PN in the next GE or rather PRN, the state elections.
Right. So how would you expect to get non-Malays? Because the perception is, PAS is an Islamist party, right? They will want Sharia law. So how can PN overcome that perception, or that even sometimes genuine concerns about the Malayness of the coalition?
Yeah, I think people have to realize that every party have moved on. So PAS today is not like PAS 20 years ago, PAS 15 years ago. PAS today is more progressive than ever. That's why they are the biggest political party in the country. Mind you that bigger than the AP, bigger than PKR, bigger than Bersatu. They currently hold 49 seats. That means they are well received by the rakyat. Of course, they do have their strongholds, but a party cannot get 49 seats if you're not well received by the people. So and of course, if you see the PAS lineup now, it is very multi as well. They do have some progressive Islamic scholars. They have intellectuals. For example, the Menteri Besar of Terengganu is one example of that. Very professional in aeronautical industry and stuff like that. So what I suggest to people is they have to look at PAS properly and look at them in 2023, because they have turned to be more nationalists while still fighting for Islam and stuff like that, because that is their core. That's their core principle. Same goes to UMNO. They have their core principle. Bersatu, they have their core principle. But none of us are racist. Everybody is aware that in Malaysia, Malays are only 60% and the rest are Chinese and Indian. So we know that in order to be government, we cannot be racist or towards one race and religion only. We have to appeal to the multi-crowd that we have in Malaysia. So PAS is exactly doing the same. Of course, there's still work to be done, but we are moving towards the right direction, I believe.
Right. So, YB, you are more than open to have non-Malays joining your coalition, and in fact, you welcome that. If I'm hearing you correctly.
Yes. Of course, Perikatan Nasional is open. We are a nationalist setup, so the reason why we brought Gerakan in is to have that multi-component effect, and we also have party components representing Sabah Sarawak, because we are not just a Malay-based party, we are Bumi Putra party that also caters to Sabahan and Sarawakian as well. So yes, we do welcome more non-Malays into Perikatan.
Okay, so just one final one on this, based on what you said, because you said PAS is now more progressive than ever, right? And one of the things that people say is that the progressives in PAS have all left and they are in Amanah, they are in Pakatan Harapan. How would you respond to that?
True. Yes. Amanah is a splinter of PAS, but until today, Amanah couldn't take over the performance that PAS has shown. For example, Bersatu is a splinter of UMNO, but today we are neck to neck with UMNO. Right. We have 25 seats. UMNO has 26 seats, but Amanah is not able to substitute PAS yet. So yes, some professionals might have left PAS, no doubt with that. But of course, there are more who join, and there are more who are in the Dewan Rakyat now. Like I said, there are 49 seats. And a big chunk of that 49 people are professionals, I would say.
Okay, thank you. One of the things that I saw when it was clear that there were many younger Malays who were voting for PAS and Bersatu, and suddenly there were people on the other side, not on your side, who were saying, "Oh, it was a mistake to let under 18 those 18 years old Malaysians vote." And I thought, well, these people don't love democracy, right? They only like democracy when their party wins, right? When their party is losing, then they say they don't like it. So that was completely unfair. And it is true. I think Perikatan Nasional did appeal to a younger audience as well as older audience. I guess so. In terms of demographics, age-wise, no problem, right? It's race-wise that Perikatan Nasional really need to expand, right? Yeah.
Correct. So yes, rightly said. We did very well among the younger voters. This is due to the fact that our social media campaign was really working well. Our campaign on TikTok was one of the main reasons why we could manage to reach to a lot of youth. And this is also due to the TikTokers that we have in Bersatu, in PAS, and also Gerakan as well. So there was a wave that was coming through TikTok, through media social and stuff like that, and it was overwhelmed at one point. It was overwhelmed. And if you ask me, honestly, if we had another week of campaign, if the campaign was slightly more than 14 days, it was 20 days or something like that, I think we could have managed to get 7 more seats to tie with PH. Yeah, because it was really, the momentum was really building. And I've spoke to some friends from the other side of the political field. They were also worried and they didn't see it coming. Because, of course, those who were popular on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook were people like Syed Saddiq and so on and so forth, people who are with PH. But somehow or other, during that 14 days, we just took over the whole thing. And the latest development is under this current regime, they are being very strict on TikTok accounts that are critical towards the government. So I've heard I've heard a lot of our accounts have been suspended, have been disbanded
Yeah,
due to how effective it was.
yeah,
So
that's
by having said that, they realized that we are conquering the social media market.
yeah, that's I don't know how people can defend that. I think there are some who are trying to say, it again. It goes back to what I said. There, you know, you test a person's true values when they have power, right?
Mm-hmm.
Before having power, you talk about democracy and freedom and all of that. The moment you have power, and then there's always some excuse, right? Oh, they are stirring the pot, whatever it is, right? But it is clear that it is targeted, and I think. YB Tan Sri Mahyudin also said in Parliament that be careful, right? Because the people are gonna see through this. I mean, yeah, I think you're right. So you have quite a few on TikTok. You're quite a star as well. It seems that you have millions of views on TikTok.
Yeah. Some videos made it, some videos didn't, but that's why it was. But yeah, I think generally Malaysians, they love to see younger candidates. They
How
love to
how
see
old are
younger
you, by the
candidates.
way, YB? How old?
Currently, I'm 30, but when I contested, I
Wow,
was 29 years old, 11
wow,
months.
that's
And
amazing. At 30 years old, putting yourself out there in
as far
yeah.
as Bersatu is concerned, I was the youngest parliamentary candidate
Right.
nationwide. Yeah.
Right. Amazing. 29 years old to put yourself in the fray. Like, I mean, politics in any country is difficult, but in Malaysia, it's especially not easy, right? As in,
Yeah,
so,
right.
so I mean, a lot of respect, a lot of respect.
Thank
Now,
you. Thank you.
so maybe a more difficult question, right? So,
All right.
why did you lose then, right? So you had the momentum, you had the PN machinery behind you, and you know the TikTok machinery, and
Mhm.
you are also a young candidate, pretty good looking as well. So how how did you lose by a whisker, but a loss nonetheless? Yeah.
Okay, yes. I lost by 1,582. So 63,000 voters turned out on that day and voted, and that is about 79% of total voters were eligible. So lost by 1,005, meaning it's a 2% loss. It's a 2% loss. But like you said,
Right.
nevertheless, it's still a loss. So from the results that I tally, younger people really voted for Perikatan Nasional and myself, alhamdulillah.
Mm.
Middle-aged Malays especially. Eh, okay, I didn't do so well. On the people who are 50 years old and above,
I see.
50, 60 years old. So I struggle a bit because that is always a Barisan Nasional hotspot, that category of people.
Right.
So Barisan Nasional took a big chunk of that. But my biggest reason is because Perikatan Nasional couldn't penetrate the non-Malay market at all. And in my constituency, I have about 27% of Chinese and about 5 to 6% of Indian. So especially in Chinese areas, that is where my big defeats came about, because when we were
Right.
telling, so the Chinese areas where we suffered the most, and
Right.
and 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 when I win when I win polling districts, I win by 500, 700, by 1,000, by 800. But when my opponent won on the Chinese polling districts, he won by 2,000, 1,005, 1,007. So
Right.
the margin is bigger there. So hence why. Second reason is because 79% turnout is good. It's not great. It's good. I would love if the turnout was more.
Mm.
And when we check, a lot of Malays didn't turn out to vote compared to the Chinese and Indian.
Mm.
The Chinese and Indian, percentage-wise, of course not
Right.
numbers-wise,
Right.
they came out more and stuff like that. And predominantly these are Pakatan Harapan voters, and my strong core are among the Malays. So when the Malays, when there's a large percentage of Malays who didn't turn out on that day, so I knew that a lot of my voters didn't come out. So that is
Right.
also one reason. But the main one is we have to be more attractive to the non-Malays. And
Right.
thirdly, just a short one.
Sure.
I contested in Balik Pulau. So Balik Pulau is in
Yeah.
Penang. So Penang is under Pakatan Harapan
Right.
administration since 2008. And when I contested parliamentary level, the the state election, the DON is still ongoing, so the state government is still functioning. Therefore, they have local councillors, they have all the ketua kampung, and everyone else who are still in the job and who are also helping the PH candidate because it's a government party kind of
So
thing.
the machinery was there.
The machinery, it's not just the calon against calon,
Right.
it's also calon against the calon and the state.
Party, right.
And the state as well.
And the
So
state, right.
it is an uphill battle. And Bersatu being a new party and Perikatan Nasional, a new party in Penang, of course, our machinery is not the same as
Right.
Pakatan Harapan and Barisan Nasional because they have been around in the business for a very long time.
Right.
But nevertheless, putting everything into perspective, losing by 1,500 is something to be proud of, and the most importantly, we know where it went wrong and we know what to improve on, and we are not far away from getting the seat.
Right. So YB, let's say you are appealing to the Indians and Chinese because you didn't need a lot, right? You just needed 2% maybe swing from Chinese and Indians for you to win, right?
Mm-hmm.
And let's say you were personally appealing to them. They like you, but they have an issue with PAS. Can you still win in Balik Pulau?
All right. The thing is this. A good example is a Chinese candidate holding the Perikatan national flag in other areas. For example, in Bayan Baru, just next to Balik Pulau, a Chinese candidate holding the Perikatan national flag. Even that guy didn't get Chinese support. What I'm trying to say is the support is not to the calon. It's to the party that you're holding.
To the party, right.
It's to the party that you're holding. So I might be young, I might be fresh, I might not be racist, I'm progressive,
Right.
but I am from Perikatan Nasional. But then a good point, because sometimes when I walk about during my campaign, stuff like that, when I pass through Chinese traders, they'll just ask me one question, is PAS part of your coalition? I said yes. So when I said yes, I knew that there was a problem with that.
Right.
Because there was that specific question, is PAS part of your coalition? So I got that a lot in market and stuff like that.
Right. So basically you lost maybe because of the banner, right? Instead of the candidate itself. So if you had contested under Pakatan Harapan, you have won for sure, right? So
Correct.
What can you guys do to get that, to bridge that non-Malay? Because it seems like, as you yourself said, there's no way for, because in Malaysia the numbers are really quite tight, right? There's no way for a government to win without appealing to the minorities, and I think that's a good thing, right?
Correct.
I don't think that's a bad thing. So what is the plan moving forward to get that, to bridge that 2% or 3%?
All right. This thing is not a calon thing, you know. It's more of a national
Right.
thing, if I may. So Perikatan Nasional have to do something with our setup. Okay. Currently, of course, we are relying on Gerakan and Bersatu. Also, we have an associate wing. PAS also, they have their Dewan Himpunan Penyokong PAS and stuff like that. But we now realize that it's not enough. Our setup for the non-Malays is not appealing enough. So we need to think on how do we appeal more? Do we add another component party, or do we feel more Indian and Chinese candidates under our banner to show that we are multi, we are not racist, we give opportunities to people? That is also one thing. Or rather Bersatu will have to think about, do we need to stay as a Malay Bumi Putra party until today, or do we need to open up ourselves to be more multiracial party, more multiracial setup, like PKR and Keadilan and stuff like that? So I think that is a question for Bersatu, and of course PAS also have to think on how to promote Islam, to be progressive Muslim, but not offend others and stuff like that. So because of course PAS don't intend to offend others, but others feel offended by them. Right. So everybody have to move towards the middle a bit. So now I think for Bersatu, that's what we are already doing now. We are looking at that. But just to add another thing, I lost 1,005 probably due to the lack of support from the Chinese community. But the vast majority of votes that I got is probably because I am under the Perikatan logo.
Right, true.
Yeah, it works both ways because
Yeah.
for example, if a Malay used to vote for UMNO or Pakatan Harapan and now Perikatan Nasional is in the fray,
Right.
these are the people who came to us because we don't have vote base. Because
True.
this is the first time that we are contesting, we don't have a fixed vote. We don't have fixed vote. So we steal from people. So the reason why we managed to steal that amount of votes is because a lot of Malay Muslims feels that okay, PH cannot fight for us. Barisan have lost their plot. So yes, Perikatan Nasional is the new thing. We're gonna try them out.
All right. Okay. So is it fair to say this is analysis that the Perikatan Nasional vote was people still wanted the UMNO ideology, but they didn't want this version of UMNO, the leadership. So they wanted a cleaner UMNO, and Perikatan Nasional is there. Whereas those who voted for Pakatan Harapan, mostly the non-Malays and the Malays who are less conservative. Is it fair to say that's the analysis?
Yes, it is fair to say that. I think you got it quite right. Because Bersatu is Bersatu. The purpose of Bersatu is to be a substitute for UMNO. So our core principles are the same. We are focusing on Malay Bumiputras. We are focusing on Islam as well. We are focusing on the royal institution and stuff like that. But we want to replace UMNO as the sole Malay party.
Right.
So we have managed to do that. Like I said, now we are neck to neck with UMNO.
Right.
And this election was an election to kill Barisan Nasional, so they lost a lot of seats.
Right.
And yes, you're right. The more progressive, the urban Malays, the urban Malays are still with PH because probably because Selangor and Penang have been under PH since 2008. And a lot of Malays who have been living in Selangor and Penang don't see any harm in choosing PH and stuff like that. So for them to move to Perikatan Nasional, it's another step forward that we have to work towards, because they are used to the PH style of governing. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much. There's a question here by Haikal. So he's on board with what you said, but he says that the past leadership is not helping your cause with the statements they make and the image they continue to project. Maybe it's also not fair to generalize the whole past leadership, but some within the party, right? So some of them have made some statements, or even yesterday I saw the march, the youth march, where they were using swords, and apparently it's done every year, and it's a small thing that has been blown out of proportion. But when you look at it, there is a certain image, right, that makes non-Malays, non-Muslims a bit uncomfortable.
Yeah, actually, it's not just past. It's other party that caters to a particular group as well. For example, yes, I agree. Some past leaders have said something that is not in line with Malaysia. But not to forget, the AP have people like Ramaswamy as well, who have said something unacceptable last week about asking the Prime Minister to reform civil service and asking the Prime Minister to reduce the participation of Malays. So this is what we call loose cannons, loose cannons. So we have loose cannons in every party, especially if the party is catering to one particular group, because they want to appeal to the Chinese. See, look what I'm saying. I'm trying to do something. And PAS is also doing the same, trying to prove to the Malay conservatives that, look at me, I am blocking concerts, I'm doing all this anti-American campaign, stuff like that. But like I said, for PAS, for the AP, for any party who is being extra here and there, everybody now is a battle on who can come to a bit more to the middle faster or more effectively, while keeping your vote base, while fighting for whatever you believe on, but who can attract people who used not to like you, but can accept you now. So yeah, that's the battle.
So can I just confirm, in your vision of Perikatan Nasional, Perikatan will be moving to the center and not staying where they are, or even moving further right?
No. I think we are going to move progressively. But of course, we are not going to let go of our main principles. But we are going to move progressively. We're going to take into account that this country has multiracial, and Malays is just over 60%. It's not 70, 80, 90% that we are talking about now.
Right.
So all political parties, in fact, have to be a bit more middle in everything, a bit more moderate, a bit
Right.
more acceptable, and not to offend others, because everybody have a say, everybody deserves a good Malaysia to live in, and everybody deserve to be in a society that respects each other and stuff like that. So
Right.
yes, Perikatan Nasional, as a nationalist party, of course, that is what we aspire to be as well.
Right. It's interesting that you say that, because I think we can see that even Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim is slowly moving to the center, is as from the other side, right? Slowly moving to the center to recapture the Malay vote that Pakatan Harapan doesn't have, right? So thank you. So I actually wanted to ask, but you elaborated already. So we talked about the weaknesses of Perikatan Nasional. What about the strengths of Perikatan? What does Perikatan or Bersatu bring to the table? So let's say, right, tomorrow UMNO no longer has Zahid at the top, right? Datuk Sri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi he's no longer the president of UMNO, right? So what is Bersatu's reason for existence if UMNO is no longer corrupt? Or will Bersatu rejoin UMNO, everyone, and become one big party?
Okay, the second option is totally no. No, because we are as big as UMNO. So why would we join them? It's not elder brother, younger brother anymore. We are at par. All right. Basically, your question is about why people voted us and what are our strengths that led to the votes. I think Malaysian voters are very smart. Probably a lot of them remembered the Muhyiddin Yassin era. He took over during the heart of COVID-19 struggle, and he managed the COVID-19 period, and that is Perikatan Nasional government. So besides that, we have nothing to show. So everybody have to look at us during that period of time. First of all, the principles that we hold, Dr. Walid, I think. When Muhyiddin was the Prime Minister, we had a clear stance on court clusters. We did not allow court cluster to hold any cabinet position, minister, deputy minister. We didn't allow them to hold any GLC position. So that was what we did. And of course, you don't see it today. You see the opposite today, yeah? Because we have a big court cluster as our deputy prime minister and so on and so forth. So that's one. Second, we were very clear on our stance regarding Prime Minister shouldn't hold any other portfolio, especially Minister of Finance, because in Malaysia, this thing is very sensitive. We have gone through 1MDB, and 1MDB happened because Prime Minister had so much power. Prime Minister is also the Finance Minister, therefore 1MDB could happen because of that. So after learning through that kind of mistake, of course, we don't want to repeat it. So we had a clear stance on that, so Muhyiddin wasn't the Finance Minister. But of course, this is another thing that we don't see it today. We don't see that today. We have gone backwards.
It was their stance as well.
Yes,
that was Pakatan's and DAP's and Rafizi's stance. Mat Sabu made the same criticism, but they reneged on it.
Yeah. Exactly, like what you said. And on the whole, Dr. Walid, COVID-19 happened and passed, and now if we look back at everything, I think Malaysians realized that Malaysia did well in managing COVID-19. Our vaccination rate is one of the highest in the world, and we got out from our lockdown quite fast, and we opened up our borders, and we opened up our economy quite fast as well. And all these things were Muhyiddin's responsibilities during his tenure. And of course, due to his stance on those principles that I've mentioned, that is what prompted UMNO MPs to leave his government, because he wasn't keen to touch on court cases to rescue Zahid Hamidi or to give him power and stuff like that. He wasn't keen on that. And UMNO MPs got restless and left the coalition, and the coalition fell. And he fell together with the coalition because he didn't want to breach any principles. So I think that particular moment and those incidences that I was mentioning earlier brought us all the votes, because people might see that you guys might lose power, but you guys held on to your principles, and this is something that we are still benefiting, because this so-called reform government is not really progressing like what they were talking before this. So So we are still holding that trump card being the most principled government, at least because, of course, performance is very subjective.
Yeah.
Because it's difficult to measure performance because some people got Malaysia in this kind of era, some people got Malaysia before that.
Right.
We got Malaysia during the peak of the pandemic.
Right.
So performance is very subjective, but principle you can see by our appointments, by our attitudes and decisions that we make along the way. So that is something that we hold on to and our main strength, I would say.
Right. So do you think that in a way that principle is what undid Perikatan, because the Agong offered Tan Sri Muhyiddin to be part of a unity government and he refused, right, out of principle? Do you think that was a mistake?
Like I said, being a winner in that tussle doesn't mean you're holding to your principle.
Right.
And I think Tan Sri Muhyiddin is thinking far ahead. It's not just about this particular battle, about me and Perikatan Nasional being part of the government. It's the survival of Perikatan Nasional in the future. So I think that was the consideration. So of course, due to that principle, we had to defer from the suggestion given. But like I said, after few months of this Malaysia Madani government, we are still getting that momentum from rakyat, and things are looking good on our side.
So
because
you still feel it when you go for, I know yesterday you were in Balik Pulau, right? Or are you still in Balik Pulau? Yeah.
No, I'm back.
Yeah,
I'm back
okay.
in KL.
Yeah, so do you still feel that momentum when you go on your walkabouts?
Definitely, Dr. Walid. You know why? Because everybody have to understand that Barisan, this election was to kick out Barisan Nasional. Barisan Nasional was rejected by the rakyat. And what Anwar Ibrahim did is to combine with Barisan Nasional that was rejected by the rakyat and empower them to give deputy prime minister posts and so on and so forth. And recently in UMNO General Assembly, they did something outside the ordinary as well. And of course, all these things doesn't boil down to the rakyat, because rakyat have no problem with UMNO. They just want to see a reform UMNO. Right. But UMNO is not trying to reform. In fact, they are blocking people to contest for number 1 and number 2. So that is why so far we are getting all the support that we are having now, and it's increasing due to the default voters, because people who used to support Barisan Nasional now would be thinking twice, because they are with PH, UMNO, and DAP. The grassroots level, they can't merge and stuff like that. So Perikatan Nasional stands a very good chance to win more after this.
Yeah, I think Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim's premiership didn't start off on a good footing with Zahid's appointment, and I think that will forever be an albatross around him, right? As in, that will forever, people will always ask him, that will forever be a blot. I agree with you. So you mentioned that, and that this is a segue. I'm looking for a scoop today, something that Malaysia Kini hasn't gotten, or even all the newspapers haven't gotten. Do you have any news to share about Khairy Jamaluddin joining Bersatu or Perikatan Nasional?
Well, of course, he's the hottest player in the transfer market. It's just that our transfer market is all year round lah. Because he is not part. I mean, like, his case is not under the anti-hopping law because he has been sacked by his party, correct? Right. And he's not holding any parliamentary seat. Right. But I'm sure you know, in Kerajaan Perpaduan, whoever who is in Kerajaan Perpaduan, they have this persefahaman, they have this understanding that if I kick out a person, and if you want to take that person, you need to consult with me first. So this is what happened in Kerajaan Perpaduan now. So KJ is on a free it's on the transfer market. But if PKR or Amanah or anyone else were to buy him, they need to ask for UMNO. They need to ask UMNO first whether or not they can. And of course, UMNO didn't sack him for fun. UMNO wants to finish him off. So it's impossible for KJ to join parties within Kerajaan Perpaduan because there is a process that should be followed, and it's difficult to pass. So the options are very limited. the option is either join Bersatu or PAS or anyone else outside Perpaduan. But I think I have a strong feeling that KJ will be part of a big party because he is someone with high ambitions and he deserves whatever that he wants to be because he has all the skills. He is well equipped and he is also well experienced. He's been in several ministries. He was very instrumental in our COVID fight. We are proud of him. The only people who are not proud of him are UMNO leaders. So yeah.
Right. So basically, this is an open door invitation. Basically, anytime KJ wants to join Bersatu, you guys are happy to have him. Basically.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm not the president of Bersatu
Yeah.
and stuff like that. But however, this is a very easy thing to answer because KJ is not Mahathir Mohamad who has passed his best and stuff like that. KJ is relevant today and still going to be more relevant in the future. And we don't have many of this kind, so you have to understand. Like I said, everyone else except UMNO appreciates KJ.
Right. So, so interesting. You mentioned Tun, right? So, what's the sense within Bersatu now? Is there a love-hate relationship between Bersatu and Tun? Because I know a lot of Malaysians that I speak to, especially Malays, like even when they are angry at him, they have some form of respect, and so it's like Man U fans and Ronaldo. You know? So it's it's a bit like what is the sense? Am I sensing it wrongly, or what's the party's stance, or at least your unofficial stance towards Tun right now?
Yeah, I mean, he is not an ordinary politician, Dr. Walid. So he is not an ordinary politician. He is a statesman. He drove our country to great heights and stuff like that. I was born during his era, 1992. So, of course, we love him a lot. We really appreciate whatever that he has done. But everybody needs to know when to stop as well.
That's exactly what Man U fans say about Ronaldo.
You know, I mean, like great leaders know when to stop. For example, Sir Alex Ferguson know exactly when Man U is gonna crumble down. Then he stopped before that, so that he's remembered by, oh my God, Ferguson was the greatest.
Right.
It's not because of he's the greatest, because he knows when to stop.
Right.
So yeah, this is one thing about Tun. Of course, he loves the country so much, and he thinks that he can still contribute. Therefore, he's still participating in elections and stuff like that. But probably he doesn't know underlining effect. The underlining response from voters that we want somebody new, we want somebody fresh, we want to make our MPs younger so that more new ideas, more leaders to be born during elections, stuff like that. So yeah, I think with Tun it's just a misunderstanding, or rather we respect his opinion, although he has left Bersatu and stuff like that. But we're not going to quarrel with him because he's Tun Mahathir.
Right.
So there's no point quarreling with Tun Mahathir.
Right. And I also feel you said that a leader should know when to step aside, but that's not him, right? He's a fighter, right? Like I feel like this is the most appropriate way for him to go out, like to lose an election, like.
Yeah, I mean, losing is fine. I think he will be okay to lose like how I lost 2005. but to lose deposit in your Langkawi seat is something that he doesn't. He don't
sure,
deserve.
I think he didn't anticipate that, but I think that's also a reflection of Malaysian voters and the maturity, I think, right? The fact that, I mean, you look at Nurul Izzah, even KJ himself, like Tun Mahathir, I mean, Zahid Hamidi almost lost. Anwar didn't get a majority, he got a plurality, right? So Malaysian voters are not afraid to vote against big names, right? And I think that's testament to, like in Malaysia, you really have to earn your vote. Like you cannot just run on your reputation.
Correct. That's true. We saw some big losses.
Right.
That is on their side. On our side also, we lost a lot of big timers. People like you said, Faisal Azumu. People like Azmin Ali.
Yes, Azmin.
People like a few other people who lost their seat. Well, if you ask me, it's a zonal matter. It's a zone matter because people like Nurul Izzah, Rizal American, and all these people, Mahathir, Mukris, they are fighting in Perikatan stronghold.
Right, right,
Kedah, Northern
right.
Penang. Kedah and Northern Penang, we are very strong there. So no matter who
Right.
PH put, it's not going to be easy. So, for example, people like Azmin Ali, it's not that he's not good, it's not that he's not capable. He's a senior minister, but he is right at the PH
Right.
strong
Right.
wave, whatever you call it.
Right.
So even he could lose a seat. So yeah. So what it means here is Malaysians still care about the party that you contest under.
Right.
So Malaysians still have that as main consideration rather than the candidate.
Right. Okay. Thank you. So final substantive question, right? Before I have a fun question, hopefully for you. So
Yeah.
the final substantive question. So, is there a possibility of Sheraton number 2? Hishamuddin said from the start, no Anwar, no DAP, and I think KJ recently posted the rebels and then the picture of Ismail Sabri and Hishamuddin, right, and himself. So I don't know whether he captioned that with their permission, but is there a possibility if those 10 people sign statutory declarations and pledge their support to Tan Sri Muhyiddin? Are you guys even thinking about it? Is there planning or?
We have no efforts towards that. So we are not working towards toppling the government. So this has to be made clear. Let's say if the government collapses, we are ready to take over. But we are not working to ruin this government because we respect the mandate given by the rakyat. We respect the popular votes that they got. We're not going to purposely sink this government. But if they have internal issues and if the government topples for whatever reason, then we are more than ready to come in as a government because we have all the experience and we've been there before and stuff like that. But if you ask me whether or not we are plotting a move, absolutely not.
Okay. Thank you so much. That was extremely clear. So, YB, my final question to you, because I said 45 minutes. Thank you. It's been really enjoyable. So, by the way, the video will be uploaded on YouTube later, so your followers can subscribe to my channel as well. So, my final question is, in the spirit of reconciliation, right? Who is your favorite UMNO or Barisan member of parliament? Other than KJ. KJ is not an MP anymore, so you cannot use him. So who is your favorite current?
Current UMNO BN MP.
Oh, Barisan, yeah.
So it has to be an MP lah.
Yeah. And why?
I would go for Johari Ghani.
Okay.
The Titi Wangsa MP for Titi Wangsa.
Yeah.
Because besides a good wakil rakyat in that kawasan, he's also very sound economically, very sound in finance. He knows what he's talking about. His debates on economic and finance is very good and at high level. And I think he would be my pick from BN. But even he is not in Zahid's camp. If you ask me to choose from Zahid's camp, I have that.
Right, he's one of the rebels also, right?
He was one of the rebels.
Right,
in fact, when during UMNO AGM, when they were voting for whether or not you agree President, Deputy President should not be contested, he didn't vote for.
Right. Yeah.
And he was on the stage.
Right.
So besides being good, I also love how principled he is.
Right. What about Ismail Sabri? So he has a pretty good reputation amongst Malaysians in general also, right? I think if UMNO had done the move, if they had gotten rid of Zahid, probably UMNO would have. And he was the leader, probably they would have gotten more joy. What do you think about that?
Yeah, exactly, because Zahid is someone with a lot of court cases, criminal charges and stuff like that. So Ismail Sabri is a cleaner person and stuff like that. And I think when he was the prime minister, he did well.
Right, he did all right. Yeah,
he did all right. And not to forget, he was a senior minister in charge of COVID-19 when Muhyiddin was the prime minister. So we cannot discount his efforts and how effective he was, giving daily presses and stuff like that. Yes, I agree with you. If Ismail Sabri was the president of UMNO during the last GE, they would have done better. But of course, Zahid Hamidi needs that position to save himself from all the courts. You need to have power and you need to be part of the government. So he got what he wanted. Somebody have to be thrown under the bus, and Ismail is the one.
Wow.
In fact, during the recent UMNO AGM, one of the reasons why Barisan lost badly is because of the poster boy as well. So the Prime Minister was the poster boy,
Right.
so they were also putting the blame on him.
Right.
So they are saying that, people didn't vote for Barisan Nasional because you were the poster boy.
Right.
You were the Prime Minister, you led the party to GE. So yeah, they are trying to shift the blame as well.
Right. So, sorry, there is a question here by OD. Where do you see yourself in the next PRU? Still balik pulau? Or who knows, by that time you'll be a minister in the cabinet already.
Next election is 4 years down the road. I will be 34, 35. Hopefully I get the chance to contest Balik Pulau again, or any parliamentary seat for that matter. But I've been doing a lot of work in Balik Pulau. So hopefully if we can find the 2%, if we can maintain whatever votes that we have, and if we can find 2% or 1,582 votes, then I'll be in parliament. Whether or not part of the executive depends on how Perikatan does. But yeah, hopefully in parliament and part of the executive.
Thank you so much. Then, would a state election be on the cards for you?
Well, yes. So Balik Pulau is in Penang. So Penang is one of the 6 states that have to do it before June, July.
Yeah. So,
well, I'm in the state yang have to like we have to go through the election. So if the party choose me as a candidate in one of the 3 don'ts that I have under the parliamentary seat I contested, then I will obey. Then I will take the responsibility to contest. But yeah, as a party man, that is the answer that you hear from everybody, right? So cannot say more than that. Whether or not I'm prepared, yes, but I have to top up my piggy bank because a lot have been used.
Right. Okay. So a lot of sacrifices.
Yeah.
When you put your name in the hat.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, YB. I really wish all the best for you. And I really hope, when your generation takes over, Singapore and Malaysia will have a less antagonistic relationship.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. As it generally our relations are fine as well. There's always a lot of posturing from politicians sometimes, right? Especially when it comes to the Malaysian elections, there's a lot of posturing.
Yeah, it's better not to take sides.
But thank you, YB. It has been an absolute pleasure. I wish you all the best. I hope you win the next time you contest, whether it's in the state or parliamentary seat. I really hope you win.
Thank you so much for having me on Teh Tarik with Walid.
No,
so
it's a
I
pleasure.
heard you will have a big gun joining you on this platform.
No, I haven't revealed yet, but yeah, so
I'm not going to say anything.
But yes, there will be a big name that will be coming, God willing, inshallah. Yes.
So I'm happy to be a small gun here.
No. You are the future. Thank you so much, YB. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, Doctor.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.